We're here this afternoon just for the fun of it. My grandnephew Ben and I, we just want to, as they say, chit-chat a little bit. Nothing serious, and nothing earth-shaking because we got enough of that going on in Washington. We don't need any help. And any comments we make are strictly our own.
Right, the opinions herein are the opinions herein.
Exactly. Unadulterated, only because I'm an adult. And anything I say is not to be taken seriously.
But can it and will it be used against you?
Probably.
Probably.
With my luck, that's the only thing leaning against me these days. But that's okay. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about things in general. And not too long ago, Ben, I had one of my old friends called up, and he says, "Hey, Pac," he says, "I've been hearing things about you." He says, people have been saying that you're walking around, talking to yourself, you're gesturing, you're laughing out loud, and what is it with you?" So I told him, I said, "Well, the reason I gesture is to make sure that I'm nimble." I says, "And by me talking to myself, I'm checking my hearing." I says, "And the reason that I'm laughing out loud is because I'm telling myself all my old jokes, and I just love the way I tell them."
Well, you want to tell one?
Do I want to tell one? Yeah. One of my favorites is this. My doctor claims that he was walking down the street, and he saw this couple in front of him. This rather shuffling old man and this wonderful, shapely young lady on his arm. He said the shuffling figure was what looked familiar to him. He says, "It's got to be one of my patients." So he inched himself around in front, and sure enough, it was one of his patients. So the doctor says to him, "Max," he says, "you seem to be doing pretty good for yourself. How are you?" And Max says, "I'm doing great, Doc." He says, "I'm doing fine now that I took your advice." So the doctor says, "I've been dealing with you for 40 years. You never took my advice. What did I tell you that you're doing right?" He says, "Well, you told me the other day, Max, get yourself a hot mama and be cheerful." The doctor looks at him and he says, "Aha, that's another thing we got to check." He says, "Your hearing. What I told you was, Max, you got yourself a hot mama, be careful."
Not as much fun, though.
Not as much fun.